It's Lerato Charlotte Litsoso. Time now to have a look at our headlines this hour. Ghana marks 61 years of independence as President Akufo-Addo sets yet another timeline for anti-corruption missing link a right to information bill.
After many years of hesitation, we intend to bring a bill again to Parliament and work to get it passed into law before the end of this meeting of Parliament.
Also in this edition, President Muhammadu Buhari overlooks worsening state of corruption in Nigeria and pledges his country's unfailing support to Ghana's anti-corruption effort.
Your Excellency can be assured that you have a good partner in me as I look forward to any form of collaboration between Nigeria and Ghana in tackling the menace of endemic corruption.
GHOne TV's appeal for desks for pupils of Ikurugu Basic School gets results as 6-year-old girl donates her money box to the news team.
Donating it for the children that don't have chairs and desks.
Also coming up, stakeholders in the Volta region allays fears of maize consumers following recent food poisoning case that killed 4 persons in the region. And starting off with our top story this hour, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has reiterated his point that Ghana, and for this matter all African countries, must strive to move beyond aid. Speaking at the country's 61st Independence Day anniversary parade, the president said seeking aid from the advanced economies will not make the least developed countries developed.
This year's celebration was marked with a traditional march past and parade at the iconic Black Star Square. The ceremony featured the usual active participation of school children alongside security personnel. The theme for the celebration was Ghana Beyond Aid, and President Akufo-Addo held the mantra and stressed that that will be crucial to transforming Ghana's destiny for the better. He said achieving this requires deliberate and qualitative change in the lives of the citizenry. President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo charged Ghanaians to build on past glories in hope for a better future as Ghana marks 61 years of independence.
On a day such as this, when we celebrate the official start of our nationhood, we should also pay homage to those who have led the fight for individual freedoms, the fight that has made it possible for the present generation to believe that multi-party constitutional form of government is part of our makeup. I salute also those who insisted that the concepts of probity and accountability should be part of the governing principles of the Constitution of the Fourth Republic.
The president reminded the citizenry of Ghana's heralded status as the Black Star of Africa and indicated that at the birth of Ghana, great things were expected of the nation and even greater things were expected of those who would have the honor to be called Ghanaians. But the president conceded that the country has to a large extent underperformed despite being a pace setter on the continent.
We are still dependent on the export of primary commodities, as was the case at the time of Gordon Gettysburg. We must admit, sadly, that in the area of economic development, we have underachieved relative to our peers at independence.
President Akufo-Addo urged citizens to live above mediocrity and strive to ensure Ghana sees substantial progress in the future.
President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has served notice he will give impetus to his fight against corruption by impressing on Parliament to pass the Right to Information Bill before it goes on recess. Speaking at the 61st Independence Day celebration at the Black Star Square on Tuesday, March 6, 2018, President Akufo-Addo promised the RTI will come to being to strengthen the fight against corruption.
There is, however, one piece of the anti-corruption framework that is yet to be put in place: the Right to Information Bill. It would increase transparency and add another critical weapon to the armory in the fight against corruption. After many years of hesitation, we intend to bring a bill again to Parliament and work to get it passed into law before the end of this meeting of Parliament.
The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, has assured President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo of his support to fight corruption in Ghana. Delivering the special guest of honor speech during Ghana's 61st Independence Anniversary Parade at the Black Star in Accra, President Buhari congratulated Akufo-Addo and Parliament for passing the Special Prosecutor Bill to fight endemic corruption. He added that Nigeria will always be available to support Ghana in its bid to ensure that corruption is defeated.
Your Excellency, my tributes to you and the people of Ghana will not be complete without acknowledging your efforts at tackling corruption, which has eaten into the fabric of our societies. I congratulate both the government and the Parliament for the quick passage of the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act and its signing into law. Your Excellency can be assured that you have a good partner in me as I look forward to any form of collaboration between Nigeria and Ghana in tackling the menace of endemic corruption. Given all these public policies, it becomes reassuring that with the right leadership, Africa drives to eradicate poverty and to entrench democracy is on course. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Nigeria and Ghana share close cultural and historic ties which have continued to shape our bilateral relations.
In the eastern region, 72 persons comprising of 66 pupils and 6 security personnel fainted at the Koforidua Jackson Park during the Independence Day celebration. Now, all the 72 victims were treated and discharged by the emergency team of Red Cross and ambulance service, except one who was rushed to the hospital for further treatment.
The Eastern Regional Manager of the Red Cross Society of Ghana, Theophilus Taki, attributed the high number of casualties to fatigue caused by the long hours of standing under the scorching sun and the fact that most of the school pupils didn't eat. About 20 public and private basic schools, including the Koforidua School for the Deaf, 9 senior high schools, 8 cadet contingents and 260 security contingents took part in the Independence Day Parade. The colourful ceremony also had a display of choreography and taekwondo. Present at the ceremony were members of Parliament for New Drabin North and South, Nana Ajay Boateng and Dr. Mark Asibiyeboah respectively, and members of the Eastern Region House of Chiefs. The Eastern Regional Minister, Eric Kwachi Darfour, assured Ghanaians of government's commitment to build a solid economy not dependent on foreign aid.
We had about 72 casualties who collapsed. About 66 of them are from primary to the GHS, and then the rest are from the senior men. Normally at a parade like this, the main factors that affect people which cause them to collapse hunger, thirst, tiredness. But the number one culprit is the fact that they stand in the sun and at the same spot for a long time. It's one of the things that causes them to faint.
Addis Adel College has emerged winners of this year's Independence Day March Past competition in the Cape Coast metropolis. Addis Adel beat off competition from Holy Child School and St. Augustine's College. AME Zion Basic School was also adjudged to best school in the basic school level. All the winning schools were awarded with placards and undisclosed cash prizes by the regional minister. The ceremony was well attended to by dignitaries from all walks of life, including the security agencies. And still on our Independence Day stories, Brong Ahafo Regional Minister Kweku Asoma-Chereme has urged Ghanaians to support government to achieve its goals. Speaking at this year's Independence Day parade in Sunyani, Kweku Asoma-Chereme said government was committed at creating jobs for the teeming unemployed youth and challenged Ghanaians to take advantage of government programs and policies to create wealth for themselves.
1,688 pupils from 112 basic, junior high and senior high schools participated in this year's anniversary. 180 security officers from the military, prisons, Ghana National Fire Service, Ghana Immigration Service and Customs Excise and Preventive Service were also in attendance. There were also representation from the Bono Ahafo Regional House of Chiefs. The Bono Ahafo Regional Minister Kweku Asoma-Chereme inspected that parade and also took the national salute. Addressing the gathering, Kweku Asoma-Chereme urged the citizenry to support government to achieve its goals.
The litmus test is simple. Every day must bring some improvement in our lives. Today must be an improvement from yesterday, and our tomorrow must certainly be better than our yesterday. Even though underachievement may have been a major part of our history thus far, we should no longer be part of our destiny. The only nation we are destined to become is the one we choose and decide.
As Ghana marks its 61st independence anniversary, our cameras were in and around some parts of the capital to catch up with activities of the day. Della Michelle brings us more on this report.
For a busy street like the Osu-Oxford Street, traffic was surprisingly non-existent. The news team was greeted with a rather calm atmosphere, as most business centers within the Oxford Street enclave were yet to start operations. Some shop owners had also displayed their products in anticipation to make some good sales by the end of the day. For many of these shop owners, sales during national holidays was very encouraging and were optimistic that the 6th March celebration will be an equally good day. Some pedestrians shared their thoughts about Ghana's Independence Day.
It's a freedom day for Ghanaians, actually, to commemorate our forefathers fought for us. It's Big Six, as I should say, fought for us to gain independence for us. I think it's a great day for us all as Ghanaians to celebrate. It's a very good day. We shouldn't be much concerned about the economic crunch, but at least it's something that God has given unto us to celebrate, to commemorate the freedom from the colonial rule. So we thank God for that.
Ghana is a country that we have freedom of whatever we are doing. And I love Ghana to be my motherland, because in Ghana here, there are things that are going on in other countries that Ghana, we don't experience that in, yeah. So Ghana is a free country.
At the Makola market, it was business as usual. Both traders and buyers have thronged the market square going about their usual activities. According to them, though they would love to celebrate the holiday, they must be at their work to make monies for themselves and their families. They, however, shared their thoughts on the country's performance for the past 61 years.
Now 61 years in the year. Omai no empenifuni women can pray. So that say omun can pray say omama foreigners na be omai no more. Ama say no ama eduma say komama no eye no. E de omu no mama je eduma na ye ama mama no ye na eduma nye. So that say e na eduma no nso a obeye no nso a yenya ba bi ntina e na atone ama.
Oh, what bo modern ka wa hife man konkro bia no. Ya ka obi anele freedom ele wo hiami because moko na ale na kan be na no kan bia wo Ghana ne le ko ba ko dan ni da ne wo so le ka na kan ta le ko kura ka ba ni na wo e bia because je ni papa ni mi na ko system one mo she ni na me pi shi maye e bia ne pa moto mo 45 ele no ele definitely maye lo joba na na ba atwaten me ko clubhouse na ma ko jime ni kakra because enye easy Ghana enye 61 eye ni jedie kese pa nyame so aboye ho ban ama niema kototin amaye nti ye nije die nti se na obi atimi ginani na obi atimi pie na Ghana woda na ye di ni yie.
But some were not enthused about the 61st anniversary celebration, noting there was nothing worth celebrating in the country.
Media yanya hwe yempani fo no omu fa so omu ye enkabum e ma mining cost because politics na agi baby adodo. Oda say osem fa nyamsumni omanomaka we no na unity embra yentem ase na man betimi akos na sister you the sister yes fi ni oman no ahunche wa we say na ye na we da ben na be kuyi
me pe president obeba wando obeka say this year me gina TV so akasa kire me mindful o ma metnase MSA o ma ni sika say year bia ni asesa soldier for police for ne do ba ko independence na we ashoma say match say 5 years bia ye no once kra if he say eye and the carbon ni ade no e beba for be say every year bia e be celebrate this idea carbon.
For some also, the celebration will be heralded with merrymaking with families and loved ones later in the evening.
And it will interest you to know that both Ghana and Malaysia gained independence around the same time. Now, in the following report, we draw some parallels between the two in terms of economic transformation.
Malaysia and Ghana shared similar economic and historic backgrounds 61 years ago. They are both former British colonies and gained independence from the British Empire in 1957. After gaining independence, both countries began with rich resources and sturdy British political and legal institutions, as well as identical educational systems. But over the last few decades, Ghana has been among the poorest nations, while Malaysia is a fast developing country and part of the middle-income group of nations. The niggling question as to why development levels of the two nations have diverged so much remains a big one. There is usually no individual factor that can single-handedly determine a country's economic outcome. However, as former colonies, Ghana and Malaysia had British political systems, but soon after independence, both countries' political situations and environment changed considerably. At the beginning, Malaysia seemed less hopeful due to internal threats such as tension among racial groups. However, since it gained its independence in 1957, Malaysia has enjoyed great political stability. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said in the case of Ghana. Coups and counter-coups have been inflicted on the country since independence. Beyond the structural similarities that Ghana and Malaysia shared at independence, their respective leaders shared almost the same visions. Right after colonialism, Ghana's Dr. Kwame Nkrumah and Malaysia's Tunku Abdul Rahman developed their Vision 2020, which aimed at building solid and world-class economies. Along the line, however, things changed. Unlike Rahman, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah could not enjoy the stability his counterpart in Malaysia enjoyed. He was overthrown in 1966 in a coup d'etat that ushered in political instability. In the years that followed, Ghana's development was truncated, Nkrumah's Vision 2020 trashed, and various people experimented with the governance of the country. In the coups that followed, various investments and companies were confiscated and sold, entrepreneurs accused and locked up or killed, and the economy battered, then repaired, depending on the political season it found itself. While that happened, Malaysians rallied behind one leader, albeit unwillingly, to prosecute the Vision 2020, and that has partly resulted in the solid economic indicators that the country now boasts and the wide gap it gives Ghana. After almost 40 years of Ghana being declared an independent nation, came hope in the form of democracy with the 1992 elections. And it's been peaceful and democratic since. But corruption still a canker that continues to fester. Ghana has indeed improved its international standing and has blocked the declines of the past. Its economic reforms and stabilized socio-political framework provide grounds for optimism about the country's prospects for attaining sustainable development. According to analysts, there is hope for Ghana, since what the country needs is the opportunity to trade its goods in rich country markets to enable it trade its way out of poverty. To achieve this, economic watchers recommend tariffs and quotas should be cut or eliminated on Ghanaian goods by foreign importers. Subsequently, this should boost direct foreign investment in Ghana, particularly in the manufacturing sector. If Malaysia could trade its way out of poverty and into sustained economic growth, even though Ghana might be geographically disadvantaged, it should be able to do same.
Still on independence, President Akufo-Addo has charged this year's President's Independence Day Awards recipients to make honesty and integrity their guiding principles as they pursue higher education. Speaking at the 2018 edition of the awards ceremony under the theme Putting Ghana Beyond Aid, President Akufo-Addo urged the 30 awardees to uphold honesty and integrity, said a high moral compass is a prerequisite for their success throughout all the phases of their future academic life. The President's Independence Day Awards was instituted in 1993 and has since then provided scholarships each year to young, brilliant students between the ages of 14 and 19 years. The awardees are selected based on the exceptional performance in the basic education certificate examinations as well as other extracurricular activities.
Government's agenda is to focus its attention on technical vocational education training and ensure that we position graduates from these institutions at the forefront of the One District, One Factory program and other policy interventions. My dear young students, you've done yourselves, your families, your schools, and your nation proud by being here today. I say congratulations to you. You truly deserve the honor that is being bestowed on you today. No doubt, you work very hard in order to excel as you have. Inevitably, the leadership of this country will be in your hands one day. It is a heavy responsibility. You'll be part of the story of whether this country will still remain largely dependent on foreign assistance, or it will be a proud nation, largely mobilizing its own resources to take care of its needs. I urge you not to allow your current successes to go to your head, because this is only the beginning. Continue to work hard in order to maintain your standards. Know that you can go as far as you want, by remaining diligent, hardworking, and holding on to a strong moral compass.
Speaker of Parliament Professor Mike Okoye has charged the nation to collectively ensure the country never returns to military rule after 25 years of democracy. Speaking at a symposium to mark 25 years of parliamentary democracy, Professor Okoye argued it's the legislature that suffers the most during military takeovers, drawing back the clock of development.
As much as we want to assert our independence, we don't want any fights. When two elephants fight, you know what happens to the ground. But nevertheless, we want to maintain our position as the legislature and the overseers.
For their part, both majority and minority leaders used the occasion to highlight some challenges that needed urgent attention. Osei Mensah Bonsu appealed to leaders of political parties to institute measures to protect sitting MPs, arguing the high attrition rate has adversely affected quality of parliament.
Its members make it. The quality of material in parliament should be the concern of all of us. And on this note, I would want to plead with the political parties that the high attrition rate in this country is not helping to grow our parliament.
Haruna Idrisu, however, focused on the excessive powers of the president. He proposed an amendment to the constitution to limit the powers of presidents to enable parliament effectively exercise its oversight role. Executive Director of the CDD, Professor Kwesi Prempeh, questioned the relevance of 275 MPs for a small country like Ghana, arguing the nation could be saved some resources if the number is cut down.
I think that it is something that has to be a product of many different factors. Look at the comparable statistics with other countries. Look at the size of our economy, the size of the population, the budget, the land mass, all of these things. Roughly, if you ask me, I think beyond 200 we are getting unreasonable.
In his address, President of the Nigerian Senate and Special Guest of Honor, His Excellency Dr. Abubakar Bukola Saraki, demanded accountability for the legislature. This, he believes, will properly place MPs to demand same from the executive.
With the committee system, it's one of the ways by which Parliament performs its work. And I do not expect that Parliament will have all the expertise in Parliament. That is why members of Parliament are supposed to tap on the expertise and resources of their people or their subjects in their area. It gives us his keynote address.
A man identified as Kwame Awuni hanged himself at Wasa in the Amenfi East District of the Western Region. Kwame Awuni, 54 years old, popularly known as Santo, is reported to have tried to commit suicide about a week before he finally hung himself. All right, and joining us on the phone line is our Western Regional Correspondent, Emmanuel Ohenijan, to give us more details on this particular story. Emmanuel, good evening, and thank you for joining us. Do let us know exactly what happened and what are the developments on this particular story.
Okay, so Kwame Awuni on last week Thursday, attempted to commit suicide, but following the timely intervention of his family and other relations, they were able to save the situation. And they threatened him that if he attempts the practice again, and he will be reported to the police, or in other means, or in probably to scare him. But unfortunately for the relatives, yesterday he left the house and left his kids. So the brother, who has been monitoring his movement ever since he committed suicide, stepped out, and he also sneaked into a cocoa farm. And so when the brother came, he asked the children the whereabouts of their father, that is Kwame. And they told him that they saw him go to the bathroom, pick the sponge they used to bath, and he went out. And so the brother traced him and managed to find where he had gone to. But unfortunately for the brother, when he got to the cocoa farm, he saw the lifeless body of his brother hung on the cocoa tree. And so he quickly reported the issue to the chief of the community, where they did the Congo. They also invited the police and went to the cocoa farm to convey the body to the mosque. It was there that the chief of the town also mentioned that the predicament of the town folks or the residents in the community is worsening because the ban on illegal mining is having a negative effect on the entire community. And you must know that Menfi East, that is Wasakupon, which is the district capital, was one of the areas where illegal mining was on the increase. It was really booming, where even most of their towns were invaded by Chinese nationals. So if you go to Wasakupon, we have Shanghai City, we have Beijing and the rest, Guangzhou City and the rest. And so the effect there is quite heavier. So the chief is asking the government and the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining to quickly speed up their process to issue a license to accredited and authorized small-scale mining licenses to people in the community, so to avert some of these suicides.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel, for that update. That is Emmanuel Ohenejan, our Western regional correspondent there, giving us some very tragic news of a 54-year-old man who decided to commit suicide by hanging himself. And we move along to the rest of our stories in our bulletin tonight, where food safety is among the many subjects discussed at many international fora in view of its importance for the well-being of consumers. Now, however, it appears that the subject is least appreciated as the regional head of the Volta Regional Food and Drugs Authority, GHOne Ado, says lovers of all maize-related foods are free to eat banku, but advise the public to be more cautious of hygiene at home and public eateries. He spoke to GHOne News' Joshua Era in wake of the sudden death of 6 people and 2 who are under critical condition following the consumption of contaminated banku in the Volta region.
I like Tiozafi.
It's more komiwa, can me follow.
Manage banku pa.
It is very common to find traces of maize in most of our local dishes, from beverages to solid foods such as kenke, banku, among others. Maize is one of the most important staple food grown in Ghana that meets the nutritional needs of both humans and livestock. It is a rich source of energy, vitamins, and some amount of protein. However, contamination of maize by aflatoxins in production affects businesses. But what is worse is when the processing of the maize into food goes wrong. On Monday, March 6, 2018, a mysterious death occurred in relation to the consumption of akpla, otherwise known as banku, and okra soup at Akapokopa in the Volta region. The development appeared to have quenched the interest of many who love the local dish. The regional head of the Volta Regional Food and Drugs Authority, GHOne Ado, has urged the public not to entertain any fear, as the regulatory body have mounted intense surveillance to contain the situation and also identify the source of the problem.
The public should have no cause to worry. There's no cause for alarm. It's not every maize that is having a problem. This is one out of a lot. Like I'm saying, in the same vicinity, there is an eatery there. It's operating as we were there, and there's no reports from there since this happened. So I don't think the public should have any cause to worry.
Meanwhile, a section of the public is unfazed about the unfortunate incident which took the lives of 6 and left 2 under critical condition, even though the cause is yet to be established. They shared their thoughts with GHOne News.
To 5 to Jimmy, Engomi floor, Pepe, Bangocha Genjomo, Bangoka Yenicam, where I'm here, Wale. Naka, Ablifiole, me and Yamakayelimo. No commit to a Yamakayeli.
Babakoyeli. Jacke Banco and Legionani Agogame, managing on Akafo or Yamapabankoyeli.
Oh, David, I'm going to be because, hey, my favorite food, Missing and Bejay. As no Bian and Edian, it's on a could be an general. Anyway, couldn't we? May say the media, Jimmy.
But the processing of some local foods with somewhat innovative machinery requires some attention. The environment in which the foods are milled or cooked, whether at home or at the public eateries. The storage processes also demand some safety precautions. GHOne Ado advised the public to commit to the clear food safety practices to avert any further mishaps.
Processes and procedures are different, but all that we will say is from the source of the raw material. When we are buying the raw material, that's the okra, the whatever, we should buy from a source that at least we can be able to judge what it is. So it's not only the registered eateries that we are talking about, but even way back home, what we take, we should be conscious of it.
And while you enjoy your banku, let's continue with the rest of our stories in our bulletin. A 6-year-old kindergarten pupil of Christ the King School, Dorothy Nana Ofewa Ajayi, has donated her 1-year savings kept in a money box to help purchase desks for pupils of the Yukurugu Primary School in the Upper East region. Now, Dorothy was touched by the plights of the pupils who lie on their bellies to study due to the lack of furniture, and tasked authorities to pay attention to the needs of children in the country.
Don't you get tired when you put your arms on the floor like this? Don't your shoulders hurt?
Yes, it's hurt. We are getting tired and we are here and when we do this and the small stores and do it, and it will be. And your stomach also.
Your stomach also hurts?
Yes. When it happens like that, and you will sit like this, and you will sit before you write. And when you are sitting, when you are writing, if you sit like this and writing, your stomach will be paining. I feel that when they get cares for us, it will be good for us.
Touched by the plight of children in the Yukurugu Primary School in the Boku West district of the Upper East region, 6-year-old Dorothy Nana Ofewa Ajayi decided to use the money she had saved in her money box since last year to help get some desks for the pupils. She presented the money box together with an envelope containing 160 Ghana cedis, which was added by her parents as a top-up. After breaking her money box, a total amount of 196 cedis 70 pesos was retrieved. Speaking in an interview with the news team, the little angel explained why she chose to use her savings for this social project instead of her initial plan of using it to buy something for herself.
I'm donating it for the children that don't have chairs and desks.
Why are you donating it to them?
Because they don't have chairs and desks.
And how do you feel about that?
I feel sad.
Dorothy's mother said she was amazed when her daughter asked them to come and donate her money after viewing the report on GHOne News.
Actually, I was surprised because she wanted to buy so many things. And like you said, you want to use the money to give to the children. She said, yes, I want to give them the money because I want them to have desks. And so then that's good. Then after that, let's go to the mobile shop and do the transition. No, we have to bring the money here ourselves.
Oh, you're such a little girl with a big heart.
Staff of the GHOne newsroom was so amazed by Dorothy's kind gesture, and our appeal is for others to emulate the gesture to help bring relief to the pupils in Yukurugu who are in dire need of desks.
Wow, all I can say is God bless our angel, human angel, or rather, for that donation. Remember, you can still contribute. Go on our social media at GH1 TV for more details on how you can contribute into making sure that these pupils at Yukurugu have a proper desk and chairs to use to study. On that note, let's go for a short break. Don't move. We'll be back with some more news.
Water gives life. Water is life. Enjoy the pure, refreshing taste of Awake purified drinking water, which comes in a uniquely designed bottle with a lemon green tap. Water is your perfect way to stay hydrated. And remember, for every bottle you buy, an amount will be donated to the National Cardiothoracic Center, Ghana. Awake purified drinking water, one for life. For bulk purchase, contact 0262 351 251.
So what makes Storm Energy drink different?
Look into the bottle.
Storm Energy drink. Power.
Welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, you're watching News Tonight, our Prime News Bulletin right here on GH1 TV. And we continue with the rest of our stories on our bulletin. Time now to have a look at our business stories.
Business Brief is brought to you by Dusk Capital. We see a millionaire in you. We're looking for you, the next millionaire. We know of your stressful routine. From those 12-hour flights across the Atlantic to your hustle through traffic every day. From burning the midnight oil to that laptop that never sleeps. We know where you are in life, and we know where you want to go. Let us take you there. Thinking investment? Think Dusk Capital. Dusk Capital. We see a millionaire in you.
Henry, what is wrong with you and your laptop? It is not working.
Hey. What at all is going on in this house?
Your son's laptop is not working and my phone.
Me kai me mo fabrim na me ma me de me ko Freddy's corner enti ene eye manager se me di Freddy's corner ho adanse a kire mabusia na ade ba ko a me kai wo Freddy's corner eye se de wo siti wonim ejeji wo customers. Se eba mobile phone, eba laptop papa, camera papa, the PlayStation Freddy's corner aha ene wo. Se ko ba to mobile phone say, o camera say, o laptop say, and a PlayStation. Me ha ho kra. Freddy's corner be try you go am. Freddy's corner, your home of authentic mobile phones and accessories.
And in business tonight, the major vision of President Akufo-Addo is to lift Ghana beyond any foreign dependency. Is the president on the path of making another history, this time economic emancipation? Well, a research fellow at the Institute of Economic Affairs and a senior economic lecturer at the University of Ghana, Dr. Eric Osei Asibe, says current policies and programs of this administration evident an economic economic evolution. A report by William Evanson-Combe. Let's see.
Our responsibility is to charter a path which is about how we can develop our nations ourselves. It is not right for a country like Ghana, 60 years after independence, to still have its health and education budgets being financed on the basis of the generosity and charity of European taxpayers.
Ghana's economy is currently growing at 8.3%, according to recent World Bank economic report. The report also suggested that the Ghanaian economy was speeding faster than economies like India, Ethiopia, Cote d'Ivoire, Djibouti, among others. In a 2017 report released by Imani Ghana, a policy think tank, the current administration has done well in managing the economy. In 2 years, both foreign and domestic borrowing have dropped from over 70% to 68%.
Discussed concerning the economy, the government in its 2016 manifesto indicated that it was going to fulfill 146 promises in all. And the main thrust of these policies was to create a business-friendly and people-friendly economy, and also to create jobs and prosperity for all Ghanaians. Now, we note upon our analysis that within the first year of government, there was an overall macroeconomic stability that was achieved. The key components of macroeconomic stability that we looked at, including the exchange rate, inflation rate, as well as debt.
Less borrowing reduces external debt, and in the case of domestic debt, a reduction offers hope for the private sector to acquire bearable credits to expand their firms. Industrializing the economy is one of the current administration's economic pillars. For instance, the One District, One Factory is a policy some see as radical. Nonetheless, is seen as a panacea to addressing the old-aged unemployment issues.
Competent economic management underscores our current performance, but while these make for great macroeconomic numbers, we also recognize that GDP that is growing cannot be eaten as it is. The bottom line is how it translates into the lives of Ghanaians.
This is what it means. A growth in agriculture will result in a bumper harvest. Industries will be fed. Invariably, the gross domestic product will grow, and these positive indicators stimulate the economy. Population of not even up to 30 million. The belief is that Ghana should be able to make do with its natural resources and be self-sufficient, or win itself of any foreign dependency. But is prudent utilization of these resources enough to grant us our wish, Ghana beyond aid? Sources of the Ministry of Finance have suggested that the country needs over $7 billion to meet its infrastructure deficits.
I strongly believe that it's a high time we start having that kind of thinking and discourse for us to begin to use our own resources to champion our own development.
In the next 40 years, African countries, including Ghana, is expected to withdraw from any foreign aid. Dr. Esibe believes there will be a challenge, especially in Ghana.
We have so much endowment, natural resource endowment in this country. We have cocoa, we have gold, we have oil, and what have you. We have human power and human resources to turn this into usable resources. Yet there's challenge. We are so much challenged in terms of ability, the know-how, to bring this to fruition, to actually tilt this. You definitely would need enough funds, money to extract these natural resources, to own the capital, to own the inputs.
But what about tax to GDP ratio, which is a major challenge to governments, especially in an era where some of our utilities are subsidized to ensure equity in purchasing? But the senior economists do believe a Ghana beyond aid is feasible.
President Akufo-Addo has reiterated the need to bridge the technological gap between the country and the advanced countries. He explained this is needed to propel development and reduce poverty. Now, to that end, the president noted that his administration is laying a strong foundation to support private sector growth. He further indicated that there are many projects in roads, agriculture and water.
Fellow Ghanaians, at its core, the poverty gap is a technology gap. The mastery of technology is what, at the end of the day, separates developed from developing countries or rich from poor countries. This is a gap we have to bridge. We are laying a strong foundation for an educated and skilled workforce of the future through the free senior high school program, which this academic year enabled 90,000 additional young Ghanaians to enroll in SHS.
Still in business, many farmers in rural Accra are gradually being deprived of their income as they continue to lose their farmlands to investors and real estate firms. Now, although many farmers in Ghana's capital region are getting frustrated, there are some who have no choice but to still farm on their little pieces of land, especially when it's their only source of income. Now, that is the story of an old Daniel Efogbe who crawls on his butt daily to his farm due to a disability. This has not deterred him from making a living in Manchi, a rural community in the Greater Accra region.
This is how the day begins for old Daniel Efogbe, who could not tell us his age because he is uneducated and has no document to help him trace his age. He has chosen to take his neighbor's word for it when they say he is 70 years. Daniel has been living alone in this hut in Manchi, in the South municipality, after losing his wife some years back. His two sons have left the shores of Ghana and are struggling to make ends meet in neighboring Ivory Coast. Old Daniel has been farming all his life, yet has nothing to show for his hard work. This little piece of farmland and another smaller cassava farm are all that he has left. He clears weeds and unwanted plants that have taken over to make way for maize planting. Amazed by how fast he weeds, dragging his bat around on the ground and clearing the weeds with his bare hands, I asked whether he feels safe. The old man tells me although he does not, he has no choice than to do this daily to get food on his table. Relying on rainfall as the only form of irrigation means unpredictable yield, but even on days that the rains have been favorable, pests frequently destroy his farm produce. Even if he is able to harvest a reasonable quantity of farm produce, he encounters another challenge of transporting foodstuff to the market. After toiling to grow and harvest his maize and cassava, he only gets to enjoy just a little of the fruit of his hard labor, as his neighbors buy on credit and sometimes do not pay back. Going back home after farming in the afternoon is a struggle, since that is the time many cars ply the route where his farm lies. Farming in Manchi and adjoining towns has become unattractive as commercial activities and real estate developers take over farmlands. Most people have therefore turned their attention to fields such as carpentry, masonry, and other vocational fields. However, for persons like old Daniel, who cannot do any other thing apart from farming, their plea is to get some assistance to aid in making their work comfortable and rewarding. Old Daniel would have loved to end his farming career to go into trading because of the challenges he faced, but says he has no support to make that happen. His plea now is to get a wheelchair to help him move around comfortably and safely. Alice Aite, GHOne News.
And this brings us to the end of our business stories tonight.
Business Brief was brought to you by
Dusk Capital. We see a millionaire in you.
Time now to have a look at our sports stories.
FC Porto will be looking forward to salvage win over their opponent Liverpool at the return leg of the round of 16 at the Championship League in few minutes from now at Anfield, which has a seating capacity of 54,074, the 6th largest football stadium in England. The England side beat the Portuguese side in a 5-0 win at the first leg. Porto would have made history if they did not go through, as no team has ever come from 5 goals down to progress. Porto, who have lost only once away all season, have defender Felipe back from suspension. Liverpool's 5-0 victory over Porto in the first leg was the biggest away win by an England side in the knockout stages of the Champions League. Meanwhile, Paris Saint-Germain is poised to make amends after they went down with a 1-3 loss to Real Madrid in the first leg. PSG are unbeaten in all competitions at Parc des Princes this season, but they have failed to defeat Real Madrid in their 3 previous Champions League encounters. The 2 matches will be played simultaneously today at 7:45 p.m.
Now time to go beyond the borders of Ghana and have a look at news making headlines across the world on our international news segment. Liberia's new president, George Weah, met with Nigerian President Buhari yesterday in Abuja and has put education at the top of his agenda, saying previously his government will pay university exam fees for every student, though it is unclear how he will fund the plan after describing the government as broke. President Weah also used the meeting to appeal for Nigeria's help to jumpstart the Liberian economy, calling for increased private investment in construction, housing, agriculture, and power sectors. Mr. Weah also urged the Nigerian banks, which dominate Liberia's banking, not to reduce their support or close operations because he was optimistic that trade and commerce will increase in the near future. And we move over to entertainment on GHOne, where culture is at the heart and identity of every nation. And this was fully interpreted at the Independence Day anniversary. From the president down to members of the public gathered at the Blackstag Square, patriotism through culture was exhibited. Let's have a look.
Of Oscars, no red carpets, but that will not stop any attendant from showing off their best traditional wear, or at least a touch of culture to their outfits. The Ghana-made wares took the bow of the day. Attendees flaunted their kente, batakari and uniquely designed Ghana print cloth. Ghana flag-inspired cloths were also in vogue, one of which was adorned by the president. But as expected, wife of the vice president, Samira Bawumia, got all tongues wagging as she stole the show once again. We are colorful people and we won't apologize for it. It is Ghana Day indeed, and it seems to resonate with the tourism ministry-led Wear Ghana Month campaign.
Obeshe woman mu atade na eye obuo ena nidie ema woman ne se yenso yebeye ye ayikrumade na yahye ama afoforo anase aman foforo nso wehu.
Every Friday I wear African wear. Every Friday and every African occasion day I wear African wear. And today is 6 March. And then I have to demonstrate my African wear.
And Ghana, Elijah. It's a nano,
Regardless, some people are still unaware of the Wear Ghana initiative.
And I also tried in my own little way, to show my patriotism by putting on a bit of some print on my blazer tonight. Hope you enjoyed that. This brings us to the end of our news bulletin tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have happy 61 years of independence. Ghana, have a splendid evening.
GHOne TV, your best experience.
Timeless Love is proudly brought to you by GHOne, My Dear Rice, Amalina Children's Haven, Oba Spaghetti, Frytol, New Life Cream, Magical, Vivo, and Gandol Cosmetics.
If I could walk to the stars, I would bring them all to you. Doesn't matter how far, if it's for you, I'll do anything for you. Just tell me if you wanted to.
If you were stuck on an island, I'll swim to the sea. I'll struggle